Tracking a February nor'easter now at 5. A look at NBC 10 Boston's Storm Ranger on the ground in Worcester. This is our mobile Doppler radar. It brings you exclusive details that are helping our team of meteorologists bring you the most accurate forecast.
And Weather Warrior is on the road right now, showing us driving conditions in the storm, conditions deteriorating by the hour. Authorities are urging you to stay off of the road.
And we will be talking about the coastal areas as well, because our high tide will be coming later tonight, and there are a lot of susceptible areas. You're watching NBC 10 Boston News at 5. I'm JC Monahan.
And I'm Audrey Asistio. The storm bringing us heavy snow and gusty winds depending on where you live.
That's right. We have live team coverage on this February nor'easter from the South Shore to the North Shore, Boston to Worcester. We want to begin with our team of meteorologists, Pete, Bouchard, Chris Gloninger. With the latest on the storm's path, Pete, want to head over to you, and that radar is looking much more intense.
It really is, in many spots too, JC. We're starting to see that maximum lift in the atmosphere, which creates and translates to intense snow out through greater Worcester, darkest shading of blue. Chris was mentioning that in the Bridgewaters right now, east and west, it is hammering snow. We're up to, I think, 3 inches per hour, he was saying, Chris? Yeah. So out through Cape Cod, it's been much ado about nothing but rain, and that's down through Marshfield and Plymouth, too. A lot of us have had to readjust our maps a little bit. And you can see out through Worcester, back through Clinton, this is also intense snow back into Rutland and Northbridge, too, Metro West. We're starting to see the waves of heavier snow, mind you, not intense, across the Merrimack Valley and up through Manchester as well. Haven't forgot about you. Your time is coming. We're going to send this your way. Look at this coloring in Brockton. I mean, we don't get much darker in blue here until you go purple, but then we see that in the mix line, really that pink shading, which moves back and forth a little bit. Give it a little leeway here, because when you get in intense precipitation, it wants to move closer to the coastline. But I think we're pretty much solid now in all wet weather in Marshfield, Plymouth, down through at least Wareham and out through Cape Cod and much of the islands at this point. Chris, over to you with the timeline.
Pete, you can see those temperatures here. We have them plotted. They go into the mid-30s along and east of 128. Even Framingham, you can see there at 545 around 33 degrees. We'll take it hour by hour. Now, as you go to 8:30, we're watching that transition line come up Route 3. It's past Brockton. We're still snowing in Metro West, and a lot of this snow we're adding up at 1 to even 3 inches per hour in this band as it moves to the north. That is snow that is difficult to keep up with. We'll take it out again through 8:30 and the 9 o'clock. That northern edge of snow moves into southern New Hampshire by 11 o'clock in the northern Merrimack Valley up along Route 2. You see Leominster up through Portsmouth and Manchester. This is when you see the bulk of your accumulations. As this transitions over to sleet and drizzle, the precipitation comes to an end, and we oftentimes see that, and you can notice by 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, we taper off to maybe drizzle or a sprinkle. The accumulations are done. It could still be a messy ride to work in this area, especially, JC and Audrey, west and far enough away from the coast, right through Tuesday morning.
We'll definitely have to be careful. All right, Chris, thanks so much. Worcester is one of the areas where we are expecting more than a foot of snow, and driving through the Worcester Hills in the snow is always difficult, right? Brian Burnell is live in Worcester with a closer look at the conditions there. Definitely intensifying, Brian.
Yeah, no question about it, Audrey. Visibility is dropping. Wind is coming up. Let me get out of the way. You can look at the intersection of Main Street and Pleasant Street. A plow truck going through right now. And those plow trucks have a job to do. And in order to allow them to do that job, there's a parking ban in effect here in Worcester. If you park on one of the main streets, designated streets for snow emergency, you'll get ticketed. You'll get towed. The good news, though, is garages in the city are free for the duration of the ban. Now, the snow started about 10:30, but initially it was light. It was steady, but it was light. And that lasted until about 1 o'clock in the afternoon when things started to pick up. Now, as I said, the wind has picked up. It's coming down heavier here. Visibility has dropped down. Streets are snow covered. The plow trucks, they were spreading salt earlier in the day when I told you how it was light but steady, but that has changed now. You saw the truck go through a minute ago with its blade down. Driving gets more difficult. And many we spoke with earlier today, they were stocking up. Are you thinking you're going to be stuck inside for a while?
Probably not. I just more, I think I kind of like panicked a little bit, but I don't know. I heard 16 inches, so I'm kind of like getting ready, I guess.
We're trying to be prepared as much as we can, but we're trying not to panic buy also. Just making sure we have enough things that the kids will want to eat, so we're not planning on going out.
Yeah, if the kids start complaining, that's when the panic sets in. All right, now we have not reached blizzard conditions in Worcester at this point, and we've been hearing about blizzard conditions to the south of us in Connecticut, in Waterbury, and Bridgeport during the day. That hasn't happened here yet, but we are standing by and monitoring the situation. Live in Worcester, Brian Burnell, NBC 10 Boston.
I know you'll stay on top of it, Brian. Thanks so much. I did a little panic buying yesterday, I have to admit. All right, our team coverage continues now from Foxboro. Our Kathryn Sotnik is live out there. Kat, several hours ago, you spoke with people who are in good spirits. I wonder if they're still feeling the same as things definitely start to ramp up out there.
Well, Audrey, hopefully they are home safe and sound right now, but we are starting to see the weather turn a little bit now that it is getting darker outside. We just see the wind-driven gusts with the snow included, and that's what we've been seeing for the past 2 hours. But a live look here at Route 140, you can see that the traffic is moving along. We're right near 95. The plows have been out and ahead of this thing, throughout the afternoon and into the evening. We shot some video just about a few minutes ago, and this is in one of the plazas in the streets here in Foxboro, and the plows, as I said earlier, they've been out throughout this whole entire thing, pre-treating the roads ahead of time, and they continue to go on these roads pass after pass to try to keep ahead of this thing, because the temperatures are cold out here right now. It is hard to drive because it's hard to see. This is a wind-driven snow, and that could cause some problems later on, especially with power outages. That's what we've been focusing on. We did talk to a plow driver, Gary Ford. He is responsible for the Walmarts here in the area, including in Attleboro, and also the Stop and Shops, which is very important to make sure that those are clear because people still need to get their bread and their milk. And this is what he had to say.
Up here, obviously, is going to get more snow than on the south coast, but I'm hoping for whatever. 14 inches sounds great.
Because you are in the comfort of a heated vehicle, sir.
yes, but of course, anybody that plows snow, the more you get, the better it is.
We had to joke around with him because, yes, he's staying warm all night long, but he will be out for many hours. He says he'll be out as long as the storm continues. Do want to show you the accumulation. This is a little bit of the side area here. And you know what? This is a heavy, wet snow, so this will be tricky for people to shovel. So you want to use caution when you're going outside trying to shovel this. This is some of what we have here, the accumulation, just a couple of inches right now here in Foxboro. That's the latest that we have right now. I'm Kathryn Sotnik, NBC 10 Boston.
Kat, thank you. We want to head north to Newburyport, where the coast is getting battered by the wind and the seas have been rough. Those are sandbags along the shores of Plum Island. We all know how vulnerable that section is, so they were bracing for possible flooding. And the ocean at this point is just reaching that point. We want to get to NBC 10's Eli Rosenberg. He's continuing our team coverage now, live from Plum Island. Eli?
Well, JC, it is howling out here. The wind really picking up. It is intense, and it is very persistent. It is blowing off the ocean onto Plum Island. So the big worry this evening is storm surge. I'll step out of the way. You can see the churning ocean out here. It really is something, and this wind is so strong and so consistent. Earlier, you mentioned those sandbags right there. There was really a race against time this afternoon to get those massive sandbags. They weigh hundreds of pounds each, and they were used to solidify a wall in an area that's very prone to flooding here on Plum Island, not too far from where we're standing right here. The mayor and the fire chief said that was their biggest concern, besides utilities going out, securing that area. They were able to, and now the big question is, will that hold? Now, a little bit ago, we caught up with a resident here who said he is not going anywhere.
I've lived up here almost 4 years now, and we get plenty of weather like this. It's a typical nor'easter. It's sad, though, what's happening in Reservation Terrace. There needs to be some work done over there on shoring that up, because there are houses that are getting hit with water nonstop.
So I asked the mayor about any evacuations, considering how big the worry was about flooding in those areas in Plum Island right around here. She said in the past, the people who live here have no desire to leave, and that is the case talking to people that are on the island right now. They said they are going to wait this out, but as you can see, the wind has really picked up. The next worry is high tide at 2 in the morning. Live on Plum Island, Eli Rosenberg, NBC 10 Boston.
Eli, thank you. From the North Shore to the South Shore now, expected to get less snow than areas inland, of course. And just like the North Shore at Plum Island, the main concern becomes coastal flooding and strong wind, big waves near Scituate Light this afternoon. Our Mike Manzoni is live in Scituate. We've been keeping in touch with you over these last hours, Mike, and it looks like wind is still the biggest concern right now.
Yeah, wind is definitely still the story here in Scituate Harbor. It's been windy all afternoon, but it has really picked up within the last hour or so. The gusts are enough to make you lose your step. I want to show you Scituate Harbor. It looks relatively calm out here. Of course, it's darker. It's a little harder to see than it was earlier. It looks calm out there, but when you get closer to the ocean, closer to the water, near that jetty, you can see how rough the surf is. It's been like this all afternoon. You can see the waves crashing over the jetty. I've been telling you throughout these live hits, using the American flag on the lighthouse here to show you how windy it is. The wind is so strong that it has ripped that flag right down the middle there. And that was not like that just 45 minutes or so ago. We don't have any snow out here yet. We are waiting for it. We're going to monitor conditions, and if they change, we will bring you the latest just as soon as we have it. We'll be monitoring conditions out here all night. For now, we're live in Scituate. Mike Manzoni, NBC 10 Boston.
Mike, thank you. Of course, we'll be checking back in on storm conditions, but right now we want to go to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic. New numbers just in from the health department show 2,270 new cases today. That brings us above the 500,000 mark for the total number of COVID-19 cases in the state since the beginning of the pandemic. Another 30 people have died from COVID-19.
In the meantime, Fenway Park now open as Boston's first mass vaccination site. But of course, the snow is causing some issues. NBC 10's Abbey Niezgoda is live outside Fenway Park. Abby, how are things going out there?
Well, Audrey, you can see for yourself the flakes are really falling here outside Fenway Park. The good news, though, all of the shots have been administered for the day. They told seniors to get here early, knowing this winter weather would be a curveball for many.
I think it's like a historical moment.
It's a different kind of opening day.
I think we felt like we won the lottery.
And the snow day is not stopping seniors from getting their shots at Fenway.
I'm ready for the winter.
76-year-old Meryl Weiner bundled up before rolling her sleeve up.
I have 2 pairs of gloves.
She got here 2 hours before her appointment just to beat the snow.
If it's going to be as bad as they say it is, I'm sure a lot of people won't be driving.
Those running the state super sites keeping a close eye on the forecast.
This is New England. We know this is going to happen sooner or later, so we want to be open.
They closed Gillette early and encouraged those at Fenway to come as early as possible. And if you still can't make it, they will help you reschedule.
No problem. We have the slots. We have the doses, so it should be no problem.
Even with the weather, Meryl says she just wasn't going to wait any longer. Nothing was going to stop you from getting this.
No, absolutely not. I can't wait to go traveling again.
Back out here live, you can see the walkway is snow covered. If you have an appointment here tomorrow, you're worried about getting here. The state says crews, they're going to make the mass vaccination sites a priority and try to keep them accessible for as long as possible. We're live outside Fenway Park. I'm Abbey Niezgoda, NBC 10 Boston.
Abby, thank you. Our first alert weather coverage of the February nor'easter continues just ahead. This is a live look at NBC 10 Boston Storm Ranger. That brings us our exclusive radar.
And a live look from Weather Warrior. My goodness, look at that. Travel is dangerous right now. Authorities urging you to stay off the roads so plows can work on clearing the area, the snow, the rain, depending on where you are. We do know of one rollover accident already in Wellesley. Thankfully, no one was hurt in that accident. We'll be back with more live team coverage in just over a minute.
Time and Temp is brought to you by Framingham State University.